If you can get paid up to $1,000 for every collection on your credit report because debt collectors are constantly violating your rights, imagine turning that bad credit into cash. Credit repair expert Vance Dawson has been part of a $1.5 million settlement case, but most importantly, he's also sued for like 30, 20, 10. He's been part of hundreds of cases, and today's class, he's going to share with us the secrets on how to knock these debt collectors out, but most importantly, how to turn them collections into cash, and also talk about the different specific laws to knock these debt collectors out. Can you briefly explain your background and experience in dealing with debt collector and the consumer rights?
So I had to form a different tagline to get the consumer's attention, right? So my elevator pitch has always been, you know, oh, I had to niche down and say, hey, I sue debt collectors. So nobody is wondering exactly what I do. How can I help them?
I know you've been dealing with debt collectors for a while, but what are some of the common violations that you see on a day-to-day basis?
Calling a consumer at an inconvenient time, right? So an inconvenient time could be, let's say right now, right? We're on an interview. An inconvenient time is, the debt collector calling you while you're at an interview, right? Or doing whatever you're doing. You could be meditating, right? You could be studying. You could be reading. You can be at work, and the debt collector contacts you and you tell a debt collector, of course you're recording the call. That's the most important thing, is to record the call. So, and then you don't have to tell the debt collector you're recording the call, but you just tell the debt collector, hey, this is Vance Dotson, right? Hey, you didn't pay this medical bill. You say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so keep in mind, you're recording the call, and you just tell them, hey, I'm at work right now and it's not a good time to. And so usually two of them phone calls adds up to an FDCPA violation.
Hold on, Dave. I gotta make sure that we're gonna clip this. So you telling me Millen Credit Management, everybody, not everybody, you said 1 out of 3, or did you say 1 out of 4? 4 out of 5 people are gonna owe them. And then what you just did was go ahead.
Out of five. No, 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 no. Listen, listen. 4 out of 5 Americans, yeah, will owe Millen credit or has owed Millen credit.
Okay. So what you're walking through right now is safe to say that these are the exact steps of how you set Millen Credit Management up for their, I guess, illegal practices.
Correction on that, right? So I never set anybody up, right? So I'm not on the other end of the call, right? With Millen, I'm not the employee of the Millen calling the consumer when the consumer has told them that, hey, I'm at work and it's not a good time to talk. So what we do is just capture the information or the violation. But I like that question. We're talking about the FDCPA, and we're talking about Section C, right? Inconvenience. And so in Section C is you only need one occurrence, right? So in Section C, you have this clause, knew or should have known. So the first time they you told them, right? So it takes out that doubt, that knew or should have known. It takes that out, right? That second time, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I want to say too. I think when the first time we had a conversation, you said something along that because we had prioritized deletions before, but when you said, "Hey man, y'all throwing away money," that's when my ears, my antenna raised. So I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, dang, bro. There's a reason why they don't teach this in school. It's because most people with collections look like us.
I want to really harp on that, right? So it really struck a nerve deep in my heart because when you look at the American population, 11% is African American. But then when you do the research on bad credit, right? Um, the African Americans are at the top of the poll. So, like I said, in the American system, we're really not taught, right? So, and the African American person or people, culture, we're the number one consumer. So we're doing a lot of businesses, we're doing a lot of business transactions, and we're not even educated, right? So that's why I wanted to be on you guys as channel and really educate the people and give them a way to get compensated from the everyday violation of the debt collector.
Hey, you pointed out one violation, right? But like, what are some more common violations that consumers don't even realize that they're getting violated by these debt collectors?
So let's say, for an example, the text message, right? So it's common, that companies and people are reaching out, text message or email, right? Um, so I like to keep things pretty simple. I mean, just text back, I refuse to pay, right? Four words, right? It's not complicated, right? So once they text you again or they email you again, or if they even call you after you say that, that's something that can get the consumer compensated.
Hey, hold on. So for the people out there who are 15 USC, blah blah, all those people now, like, what are we specifically talking about? Because when we tell people to do stuff, we like to show the law, and I think we may even add a visual of what you just said because we did it before and it worked. And I was like, oh, they really keep texting. So what specific statute or law is that?
Talking about 15 USC 1692 CC.
Y'all can go look that up just so y'all know that we ain't just saying whatever.
I think that statute is really misunderstood by the American public, right? So say for example, a lot of people contact me, and when I see the communication, right, they just having big bold letters. This is a cease and desist notice, and do all this type of stuff. That's too much, right? Just keep it real simple. I refuse to pay. That's it. That's it.
So, what are the steps people should take, right, if they've been violated? Tell the people.
Talk about the steps, right? Good question, Dave. Um, the steps is very simple. You get a pen. So I seen some of your videos. You offer people the pen, right? And that's a very smart thing to be giving people, right? So let me go back. That's a very important tool to give people, and here's why: you can solidify what you're conveying over, right? So, how do we do this? We literally get a piece of paper. And I see on your videos and your channel, you tell somebody to get a pen and pad, right? So you're really giving them the steps. You just date it. You make it out to whoever you're sending it to, so to the debt collector, and then you just put on there the account number or the amount of the debt, and then you just simply say, "I refuse to pay the debt." And then you put your name below and then your address and stuff like that and zip code and city and state. And then you take a picture of that letter and then you send it to the debt collector certified. The debt collector is going to respond probably. That's the violation. The debt collector is going to send you an email. That's the violation. The debt collector is probably going to text you. The debt collector is probably going to call you. That's the violation. And so I want to also add and make put it on the back of the consumer's mind. Once you send that piece of communication, go pull your credit, go screenshot your credit karma, get a complete copy of your credit report. Because once you send that to the debt collector, and they mark the information disputed, that's a violation under the FDCPA because that's not a dispute. That's a refusal to pay. And so the the notation becomes the violation under the FDCPA.
So typically, hey Vance, how long does this process really take, right? To get the debt waived, right? And to get paid. We trying to get paid around here. So how long does that process usually take?
Typically, as a people, the consumers look for the deletion of the debt, right? So the debt collector usually just deletes the debt. Then the debt collector is going to usually waive the debt. And what that means is you're going to legally not owe. You're going to get from under that debt. And then we're going to talk about the money, right? We talk about the money, putting the sugar on top, right? So we're going to look for the money, right? So I want to get it very clear. We're not getting rich, right? We're not. This is not hitting a lottery type thing. The law allows for 100 to $1,000 statutory damage, and then if you have actual damages, you can be compensated for your actual damages also.
Kind of messy. So I want to talk about hitting the lottery, but we gonna add that part first. Let's not talk about hitting the lottery, but let's talk about what hitting the lottery sounds like. Because I think you had a big case that you were I don't know, I ain't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe advising somebody or telling them like, because I know you like, hey bro, what did they say? They call you a what? Oh, we about to get paid. So can you speak on something like that happening?
The case you're referring to is a good friend of mine, Alan Jones. The case settled. Well, the case went to trial for $1.5 million, right? And so it's just the simple steps that we went over in the beginning. Record, record the phone call, and that's what I told him to do. And so it just happens to be the debt collector was on the recording saying the word, and so we pushed it to trial. $1.5 million was the verdict.
So what if people are trying to do it themselves? Like, what is some advice you would tell them to do? Or what would you give them?
The window. So let's talk about different scenarios, right? So you could take the debt collector to federal court, and as soon as they get the lawsuit, they reach out and say, "Hey, listen, we're sorry, right? And what do you want?" And automatically just give you the money, right? And so um, that's one scenario. So the other scenario could be you sue the debt collector in federal court, and they want to fight a little bit, right? So that's typical. Um, expect 3 to 6 months of litigation.
Hold on. All right, so we gonna have to make sure we want to talk about the average, and then let's talk about making a wish foundation type money, because I want to hear some crazy numbers.
For an example, so the settlement, we're going to talk about the average, right? We're talking about the average. So typically, it can be 100 to $1,000 average, right? So we're just going to make a wish, foundation, money, settlement, things of that nature. Let's just say $5,000, right? And so yeah, that's the typical window that the consumer could be looking at.
So if you're ready to turn those collections into cash, you gotta hit my boy Vance up, right? I'm gonna have his information in the comments so he can help you knock those debt collectors out. So go to the comment and hit him up.